recording. That's okay. I'll do my best to get us out still close to like 11:30. It might be a little bit after. There is a team meeting starting at 12. Is that correct? Food is provided. So I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it's gonna be delicious. I'm sure it's gonna be delicious and I'm sure it's gonna be action packed and full of punch and all on it. But I'll make sure that we get through this in enough time that you'll be able to take a little break from learning. So thank you for being here. Excuse me, before we jump in, I want to really give two sincere thank yous. So one thank you to your Market Center leadership team for having me. I literally just emailed and said, hey, I'd love to come up. I have an AI class that I've written. I'd love to come teach it. They said, yes, welcome me with open arms, made it very easy for me to be here. Just noting that Joseph and Vince are not here and it was still very easy. So take that as you may. I'll text them the same thing. They'll like. And then honestly, want to give a sincere thank you to all of you for being here. I think the biggest gift that you can give someone is the gift of your time. And I don't take that lightly. So you've given me 90 minutes of your time, which well, artificial intelligence and technology of all things on Thursday morning. So my intention is that you're going to either leave here really ready to take action about artificial intelligence or really take some action in our time together today. So we'll go ahead and kick things off. Before, I just like to kind of see like who's in the room. So can you do me a favor and just raise your hand if you have used artificial intelligence in your business in any way? And that might be ChatGPT, that might be something similar. Okay. Keep your hands up if you're using it on a monthly basis. So once a month you are using it. Keep your hands up if you're using it weekly, daily, keep your hands up, hourly, keep your hands up. Keep your hand up if you've used it in the time you've been in this room. So we have kind of a mixture. Hey, everybody, good morning. You made it. Welcome. Don't rush. You're good. We're all good here. So I just wanted to get that. Thank you for doing that. Just to kind of see who we have in the room. When I created this course, it was created off of the AI playbook that was written by David Voorhees and Jason Abram, along with some top agents. And I kind of took that and just expanded it and added some information. But I promise, whether you're using it like every 5 minutes using some sort of AI, or you've never used it in your life, there's something that I believe you can pick up from our time together. So we'll go ahead and jump in. So by a raise of hands, who's heard of the TCPA? Yeah, ideally all of the hands, and those would go up for this. So we are just making sure that whenever we are communicating with potential buyers, potential sellers, leads, maybe previous buyers and sellers, we're doing that in a TCPA friendly, compliant way. I will share this slide deck with your Market Center leadership team and make sure that we get this out to you. So please feel free to take whatever photos you would like of any slides that you want to kind of remember. Take whatever notes you would like, and I'm going to make sure that you get the entire slide deck as well. Oh, sorry. This QR code will take you to a resource page on KW Connect that will have resources, handouts, frequently asked questions, one-pagers, all about everything that has to do with the TCPA Act. So we can check that box that we talked about that for legal. So this is just a little bit about myself. My name is Sydney Seymour. I have the absolute pleasure of being your regional technology trainer, also known as the RTT for the Carolinas region. So we have 41 different locations, 8,000 agents and change. I will say this to anyone, it is the best region. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It just is. It's the best agents, it's the best leaders. It's just absolutely incredible. And I'm really like blessed beyond measure to meet up and get to hang out with all of you every day. I've been with Keller Williams since 2010, and in that time, I've worn almost every hat except for that of an MCA because they would never trust me with money. So I've never done that. I'm a KWU Master Faculty Instructor and a Labs Advisor, which just means that I get to kind of see the technology before we release it, which is really cool. I do live in Florida, so I was kind of chatting with a couple of you. So I joke that I either have like a 5-second commute or I have to get on a plane somewhere. So I live in Central Florida, right outside of Orlando, and come up to the region about once a month to go to meetings and teach and travel on trains. I attended Florida State University. You never know how that's going to go over, but Feels like we're, okay. And I have a 19-year-old stepdaughter who's also attending Florida State University right now, which is really cool. And let me think, my husband also works for Keller Williams. He was an agent, then a team leader, now is an agent back in production. He runs a team in Orlando. And I'm just really passionate about ensuring that Keller Williams agents have awareness of the systems, the models, the tools that you have at your disposal. I say a lot, if we can figure out a way to save you a minute of your time or $1 spend, then that's a win, and let's just kind of build from there. So just excited to spend some time with you over the next 90 minutes or so. My contact information is up here on the board, also on the slide deck. Would love to connect with you, or if you have questions. You guys also have Holly and Kristen, like you've hit the jackpot as far as Market Center resources, you really have. So I know that they can always help, and if I can help, I'm happy to as well. And then for social media, I'm probably the most active on Instagram. KWU Trainer is what I'm on as there. Would love to connect with you and kind of virtually like cheer you on from the sidelines. So we will jump in. Here's what we're going to cover today. So we're going to talk about leverage. We're really going to work on identifying how do you need to use AI for leverage, or how would you like to use AI for leverage? We'll also talk about the AI programs that we currently have, not all of them, because there's a million, and we'll chat about that. We'll spend the most amount of time talking about prompts, and we'll do some workshopping there and really figuring out like what does the best prompt look like? What do we need to be doing for that? And then finally, we'll wrap it up with where we're starting to see AI show up in our KW platform. So this workshop is actually like the least amount of KW specific technology. We'll kind of wrap with that and finish up with that and do some masterminding throughout. And I promise we'll make it fun. So before we jump in, let's talk about technology adopters, just so we can kind of think about this. So when I was prepping for this class, I was doing just a little bit of research, wanted to think about how are people adopting and adapting to technology because it's moving so quickly. And so I did a little research and found there's really like 5 kind of buckets of where we see people adopting to technology. I then kind of broke that down a little bit more into 3. So you can see on the left, we have the innovators and the early adopters. I think of this as iPhone has a new update. They don't care what their ramifications could be. They're hitting update now and just moving forward. Early majority, late majority, they might be a little bit more logical. They're kind of thinking a little bit more, do I really want to do that update? Do I need to? Is there a larger population doing it? Am I comfortable? And then don't love this phrase, but the laggards are just a little more critical, maybe wondering how will this improve my workflow? So I'm curious, by a raise of hands, who would say that they fall in the innovator to early adopt? Okay, and then put your hand up if you would say you fall in the early majority to late. People are telling each other what they fall on. That's and then while I don't love the phrase, who would say that they're a laggard? Yeah, yes, like I am a laggard. Some ways we might be laggards in many different ways of technology, even if we're like, oh no, I love technology and I love like, I think of it this way. If your MLS were to completely change everything tomorrow, we would all be laggards, right? We would all be wondering like, why did they make that change? Or why is it? I'm the same way. The button was on the left and now it's on the right. How is this going to work into my right? Like, I don't like. So let me ask you this. There's plenty of times when we're working with a buyer or seller, we identify them maybe internally based off of your DISC profile. So we know this person is high D. They really just want to know how much they're going to net on the price. This one is a little bit more of an SC. I need to be a little bit more calming with them. Would it be beneficial for you to internally think, oh, this person is an innovator or an early? Would that be helpful for you? Yeah. If you think so, why would that be helpful?
Then how do you approach getting them to adopt things?
Okay.
Depending on
time. So how we're getting them to approach things, depending on where we feel like they might fall.
Right.
Yeah. What else? Why would it be helpful for you to know?
They're not opposed to change.
Oh, yeah. So they might be opposed to that. They don't love it. Not opposed to it.
together,
Yeah,
pretty open.
they're open to it. They're comfortable with it. Love that. Why else? Yes.
We could provide all the information needed to make it.
Yeah, so we might provide them with that to change a little bit. Good morning. You're fine. You're fine. You're just getting started.
Sometimes think of it as when you are. Like I'll ask, I'm a real estate agent, I have X clients, if I know where they are in that process, I can tell.
Yeah.
I want it to say this, can you make it, or someone who's really innovative, can you
Yeah.
address let Jack teach them.
Just to let it
So-
help you with that, right? Yeah, I've got it. Can I see your hand again in the box? Or does this stretch? Okay. I think too, like if I know someone is an innovator or an early adopter, when we're thinking about technology, I might lead with, oh, you're searching for a home. Here's my app, how you can search anywhere you are based off of your location, right? I know that they're gonna be comfortable and confident with that. Now, if I know that someone is more of a laggard, I might not lead with that. I think of it this way too, like with DocuSign. Has anybody ever had someone that's like, I just don't feel comfortable electronically trying to, right? So in that aspect, you're all remembering it. You all went back there when you had to meet them in person. You're like, yes, I remember that person. They might be a little bit of a laggard in that way, but they could potentially be innovators or adapters. So I think technology is so big in our industry and across all industries and AI as well. I think if you haven't started to get the question of how are you using AI in your business or how are you using that in real estate, I think you will start to get that question from some innovators and early adopters. So I think it's just beneficial to be able to understand kind of what buckets they potentially fit in. I live in Orlando, like I mentioned, but I grew up in Tampa, which is like an hour and a half away, and I'm an only child. My stepdaughter is an only grandchild. So my parents decided that they wanted to move to Orlando. So they had built the house in Tampa, and this was like, they built it 30 years ago. My parents had no real estate experience over the last 30 years. So when we decided to list their property, my adorable dad was like, okay, well, do I just like meet people at the house to give them the tour? And I was like, that's actually the last thing that we would do. Thank you. But he had never seen an electronic lockbox, right? Because 30 years ago, that probably is not as prevalent or what we were using. And so in that area of his life, he was very much a laggard, but it's also because that's not his day to day. And so me knowing that, being able to show him and understand it, like immediately put him a little bit more at ease. But I was able to identify like, it's his first home sale in 30 years versus my 30th in 1 year, right? We have to understand that, and technology can help a little bit with that. Any questions on this or additional thoughts before we jump forward?
Just to
Yeah,
off the cuff, Vic, but since you're in technology, I'd love to hear your thoughts about our industry disappearing as we know it in the next 10 years.
wow, what a question.
Well, I'm sure you've thought about it.
I don't think that we're gonna have like robots showing the
Oh,
house,
no,
right?
everything virtual, everything AI, agents.
But Zillow was built to time about this.
Yeah, I just think, I mean, so the quote that I use a lot, that is not my quote, it's Gary's, is technology is never going to replace real estate agents, but real estate agents that embrace technology are going to replace those that do not. And so I don't think that technology is going to overtake us. I just think that, honestly, I think technology is fantastic for the way that it can allow you to leverage yourself and focus more on your 20% versus like getting stuck in the weeds of the 80%. So I obviously don't have a crystal ball for what will happen. I don't know that it will replace us because quite frankly, I think people are funneling a lot of money into technology and not trying to take over real estate companies anymore. So, which was the biggest fear that we had if we think like 5 or 6 years ago. So,
Well, you got to look at the travel industry.
yeah, I know. I don't know. I have hope that we're enough that we're gonna.
Nice strategy.
Yeah.
Have that anyways, don't want to sell houses until.
No, I think they're really. So we're gonna do a quick activity, I'll walk you through it first, so I would do this independently by yourself first, so on the handout, you'll see there's 4 squares that you have there. We're gonna start in the top left square, what I want you to think about independently, and I'll give you like 2 to 3 minutes for this. And I want you to think about what are some areas in your business where you would like to leverage AI, either if you aren't at all or more than you are. Now, I want you to answer this thinking about AI. So we absolutely know there's things that AI can do and there's things that AI cannot do. So I want you to just come up with like 3 to 5 things of how you would like to leverage it. I'll give you about 2 minutes for this. When we're done with this part, we're gonna then move into groups, but I'll tell you about that. So any questions before we start, just on the 2 and 3? So cheating and good slowly. Cheating in here. Yeah. Give you about 2 minutes.
Sign here. A drone, sign in here. Let's go. Yeah, there's some things that. And you want it before you.
If there are areas that we dislike or are just taking too much of our time, we can't see if AI could help, then we still, right? We'll brainstorm about it. Sure, client processing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Give me about 1 more minute. You're just thinking things with pen and right?
Yeah, I don't know. Nope.
Even enough time for that. So what we're gonna do next, I'm gonna have you, in just a moment, find just, you can like 3 or 4 people around you, just make it as easy as possible to find people. I'll have you go through and share from your list, maybe 1 or 2 things. And then what I'd like for you to do as a group is kind of come up with, there's probably gonna be a common theme of how you would like to use AI. Come up with that common theme so we can share it with a larger group. Here's the deal, I don't have a really loud voice and I've been talking for 4 days straight. So when the end of the 4 minutes for this is up, I'm just gonna raise my hand and that's your indication to stop. And if you can stop and then raise your hand, and we'll spread like that. Stop. Okay. Any questions before we move into the group activities? We're good? I'll give you about 4 minutes. Call or join us? Yes. Or. All the can I get from you? Sure. I got very. No, it's not far. However, when I get to the rest of the. No one can. So, when I really. That is why she got initially lucky for me to edit and say, oh, it's great. I think that's so what can you do beyond sort of far writing time I see powerful from that expands the outside of your
Yeah, like, so it's kind of like, people and try. Look, I like these dolls. Yeah. I love them, but. Yeah. We're safe. So it's fascinating when it's how we smarter and we see we are that are sitting that's fascinating. I have my notes. My conversations and my house. Yeah, for people like me, they're engineers and. They maybe, you know, I'm gonna host to have. Me, Tommy, and Papa, they got a phone. And I got. It's about the first one. So. That's like university. I'm like, but it's learning. They run out of better than I used to. Oh, like that. So perfect. Somebody just has to be like the libraries, right? You don't trust these, right? You don't get that. I don't know, maybe it's, you know, it's better than just talk, this, my brain thinks that's not. Right. Wait, I'm gonna. Yeah, step your mind, brother. Scholars who that are now, like, for instance, there's this sort of curve of thinking around, and I've had a handline videos that that's what I was speaking, question, and there was a whole bit for like, now your job point, so it's like, oh, this was really, for now. Okay, so now we're in fiction, and we can use about something about your figure, and why they should go back to the, you know, to rooms and dynamic. Well, I love that, they haven't, they would, you know, far, yeah, it's like a bridge between the two, we're kind of. Okay, so I'm great, I use it to this, they didn't see this too. I know there's something that's in the name of like. This one, mugging something together and the AI and it's going down for these girls to look, see, and see the things and get tested. And if they were the programs that teach you, which some. Then you know, and you're finishing. Pulse. Once they switch to the first, they figure it out. Or they will, because they know it doesn't. Yeah. Here it starts it up. Yeah, line farm here. Right. Environment, not in terms of that. One like run around here, turn down like, but I never work on. Well, I should say. So I really. I thought. You can take a survey, it was in those reason kind of training, you know, sort out the work, you know, traveling, like. When it's going. Studying on the art and that we can try around.
Yeah, any problem. I don't know how, but I'm sure that if the world was held up big.
Yeah.
Required more than likely that if those. Personal, yeah, really some sort of. They have myriad of systems, you know, analyzing and consolidating data. That's a big challenge where you don't have the manpower.
Well, you have and decided to. By asking. Use XYZ sources to give them that, right, and I go. Yeah, do you guys take your spreadsheets and give them to AI and say? See, I go out and easy and calming and really kind of think of everyone. Thank you guys for doing that. And then also the larger group. So here's what I would love to do is just whoever would like to share from your group some common things that you came up with of how maybe you're already using AI or how you'd like to use it more in your business. And we'll just throw them up here on the whiteboard. So who would like to kick us off with some ideas?
I guess for our group, it was
Yeah.
more of like data analysis, like
Okay.
managing what systems are working for clients or in our group specifically like in their recruiting, like how
Okay.
to do recruiting systems.
Okay. Systems. Okay, cool. Thank you. Yes.
I would like AI to do my video content with my face and my voice, getting realistic. Like,
Yeah. I don't know, Alan's doesn't sound like Timo anymore.
Might be a good name.
Realistic, right?
Yeah.
So we're just gonna, I'm gonna actually put realistic because there's systems, but. Sometimes. Cool. Right.
We've got a few, we've got listing reports to sellers, we've got more realistic CMAs.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We've also, this was a really interesting one, cost for repairs in hands-off scheduling.
Oh, great,
Uh-huh.
great idea.
Right,
Repair quotes.
and coordinating the repairs.
Based on local costs. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
idea.
Cool.
Cool, thank you. What else?
Tracking. Tracking your numbers, tracking, being able to pull from multiple sources. I think in general, pulling from multiple sources.
Okay.
Reliable sources.
That's correct, yeah, okay.
Okay.
one of ours would be generating
And
conversion.
that.
and conversion. Like that.
New lead engagement,
That's why I do.
video editing.
The other thing I would love mine to do, it's not necessarily real estate related, is like. Budgeting, moving my money where I want it to go based on my unique goals. I don't wanna ever, honestly, I don't wanna ever look at my money. That would be super fun.
Can I just call that wealth building?
Yeah, that sounds great. Oh my God, I would love it.
Managing the inbox.
Oh, yes, thank you for that. Yeah.
Polly gets credit.
Yeah.
My inbox is not.
Client processing. It's so mundane, but it's gotta be done. And I can't see how to use this yet.
Okay. Anything else?
We all can. That's a real, what you release.
Go, right.
Data management, like
Smart.
Fran,
Facebook, contacts on their phone, CRM, whatever, their data's all over the place, consolidate that.
you mean database, not data,
Data management.
right?
And I have a simple one that I kind of, don't write real pretty and I don't, but I have to decide to say it. So I've actually told it that I'm saying that by the, like a professional letter or professional content. So I say, take this professional, please, and it does.
So I'm gonna call that content creation and like cleanup.
Okay.
That makes sense. Okay. Anything? Okay, so we'll touch on some of this, like best practices. I might leave some here for you for future workshops.
Yeah.
That would be really good if you want a picture of whatever you wanna do. Yeah. But we'll chat and kind of mastermind around some of this, but I think it's helpful just to kind of get your brain thinking about how could we even use AI for these things and just different ways that we can kind of go through that. So thanks for doing that and participating. All right, so we're gonna jump in, maybe. There we go, to just chatting about the different AI platforms that are out there now. The joke that I make is like in the 40+ minutes that we've been together, 100 other AI platforms have been created.
Really overwhelming.
There's a lot, yeah. So what we're gonna talk about are, these are from the AI playbook, and these are in our industry, what we tend to see people using the most. Not they're the only ones, not the best ones, not that they are the ones that you should be using. But they're also, I think, the more common ones that people are more comfortable with, so we'll chat about these.
See what's on.
No. So the first one is ChatGPT. So by a raise of hands, who has ever used that? Okay, keep your hand up if the first time you used it, it was for a listing description of a property. Okay, cool. So you can put your hands down. Thank you. That's what we tend to see as like the first kind of foray into things, right? I'm gonna use ChatGPT and I know that I need to say something and I want to make it sound better, so I'm gonna use it for that. So let's talk about ChatGPT, just for anybody that isn't super familiar with it. What's good, what's maybe not so good for you, your opinion, your thoughts. So ChatGPT, there's a free version and there is a paid for version. I am a really big advocate of using everything for free until you feel like maybe I need to go to the paid version. So let's just use it as it is for free and then see if we need to increase that. With everything that we're going to talk about here, I do highly recommend that you at least create an account when you are using it. So if you go to ChatGPT, you never have to log in. You can ask it a question. It will give you a response. You'll never have to actually do any sort of logging in. The problem with that is if we're not creating an account or logging in, we're starting from zero every single time. So when we're asking it the question, it doesn't remember we're a real estate agent. It doesn't know what it did last time. It isn't holding on to any of those memories. So whatever you use, the free version, just make sure that you are logging in or creating an account with that. With the free version of ChatGPT, I want you to take a lot of these with a grain of salt. ChatGPT, the free version, is about 3 years old for a lot of data that we're pulling. And so an example might be, it was just the 4th of July. If you wanted to send out a newsletter of like the top 10 things to do in Charleston for the 4th of July, we are seeing that when it pulls that data, it will pull wrong dates for events. It will pull restaurants that are no longer open. So everything that we're talking about today is not replacing you, and you need to make sure that you're really doing your due diligence of checking everything before you are just putting it out to the masses and trusting it. And so with the paid for version, I have the paid for version. It is still not to the day accurate. So I still find mistakes. I still find events that aren't happening, restaurants that have closed, different stuff, because that stuff is still out there and it's still kind of pulling in that data into what it's sharing with me. So we just need to triple check there. I think people like ChatGPT because like it just, as much as it's technology and this sounds weird, it kind of acts like a person. Can ask it a question, it easily gives you a response. It's a nice format. There's an app version of it as well. It's really intuitive. I think it's easy to use. So I think people really like it for that reason. I'm curious, has anybody used Claude? Okay, do you like it?
Love it.
I like Claude a lot too. So Claude is another AI.
It's free.
There is a free version as well, and then there's a paid for version also. I understand that what I'm about to say sounds crazy because I'm talking about technology. But if I could compare the two, I think ChatGPT, if it were a human being, would be a very direct, you asked me a question, here's your answer. I think it would be a high V, you asked me this, here it is. I think if Claude were a person, it would be a very like high SC, and it would be just a little bit more thoughtful. I think it would have more detail. It's a little less conversational. To me, it's a little bit more literary and has like some nice content there. So it's interesting. We have some MAPS coaches that work with leadership, and they've been doing the same thing, the same activities using AI. One is using ChatGPT, one is using Claude, and ChatGPT spits out an answer or here's your like 12-week lead gen plan. And it's very like week 1, do this, and these are the bullet points. Claude does the same thing, but to me, it's like a bit more, I don't know, like it just has more of a literary kind of aspect to it. I kind of like the look of Claude better, if I'm being honest, just the way that kind of works. So I would tell you to kind of look at both of them and see which one you think you tend to like a little bit more and kind of go from there. The third one here is Gemini, which is a Google product. So has anybody ever used Gemini? Okay.
You know, but it can be annoying because it keeps popping up. Do you want to use it? Do you want to use it?
So you probably have all used Gemini, you just don't realize it. So if you go to Google and you search for what are the best restaurants in this area, have you started to notice that now it gives you this like summary, this paragraph at the top?
Yeah.
That is Gemini.
Right.
So what Gemini is doing is rather than you having to like sift through all of the different articles, it's essentially reading it for you and then kind of putting this little summary together at the top. That is Gemini.
So can I have a Google book, I was thinking, so is that when oh my gosh, okay, so.
Yeah, I'd like to change my name. Here is where I really love Gemini. So, all of you have a Gemini account with your kw.com email address because of. Well, so I really like Gemini for native Google documents. Here's what I mean by that. You can go to Google Drive and you'll be able to use Gemini. And let's say that you have a Google Sheet. An example personally would be, I get a report every month from PWRI that has 43 different tabs with close to 10,000 different rows of contact info. And I have to find a way to sort that and to read the data, which would take me hours. So I can take that and upload it into my Google Drive account and ask Gemini to either sort the data or can you summarize this for me? So I do really like Gemini. I could do the same thing with ChatGPT, but I would have to download it and then upload it into a third-party system versus just using it natively in Gemini. So I do like it for that. I feel like I really tell my age when I tell this story, but Gemini reminds me when you guys said the pop-ups of, do you remember like the Clippy, the little paper clip from Microsoft?
Oh, Microsoft, so invasive.
That, like the little helper. Gemini is kind of like that, right? So it's
Yeah.
your helper that is essentially in there.
I
But,
don't know that.
I'm sorry. There's like a meme, I think it's like, oh, when I was younger, there was a Clippy that would help me. And it's like, okay, grandma, let's get you to bed.
Okay.
It is, it does.
Do you use Gemini, say, to compare two P&Ls and highlight the differences?
Yes.
So you can enter two files and have it compare?
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Still using the human eye to confirm
Sure,
if
sure,
comparison
sure,
is
sure.
accurate. But yeah, yeah. So, the three on the left are kind of very much the like, I want to ask a question, I want content, I want you to help me with this. They kind of are all in the same vein of that. Over on the right, we get a little bit more creative. Has anybody ever used Jasper? That's the first one. Okay. So Jasper is more, I actually have some people that I know that have used it that are not even in real estate. They build websites and they are using Jasper to help build a website. So it will help you with it. And help with some coding, writing tools. Jasper is like, we are not free and it's $50 a month. Try it or hate it. We don't care. We want your money. So, just be cautious about that.
The account that we get, is that the paid one?
It is.
Single-
Yep, yeah. And then, has anybody ever used Gamma? Okay, if you just listen to one thing I say, this is worth the entire class. Use Gamma. It's absolutely incredible. So what Gamma does is it creates presentations for you. So you can use Gamma one of three ways. So when you go into Gamma, it will allow you to either upload a document. So I'll give you an example of what I use it for. So I write a lot of my own content for courses that I teach. So I go into ChatGPT, I say, I want to teach a 90-minute workshop on this one topic. I want 3 activities. I want 20 slides and I want like I give it a brief outline of the content that I want. And then I take that document, I upload it into Gamma, and you guys, I'm not kidding, in like 2 minutes, it made the slide deck for me. Like absolutely. So you can upload a document. You can also upload or use a URL. So I have like a URL, like answers.kw.com is where all of our tech stuff is. I knew I wanted to teach a class on this one URL. You can upload that. It will create it for you. You can also just prompt it. So similar to how you would use a ChatGPT, you can say, I want to create a presentation for a listing presentation on this, this is me, whatever, here's my resume, however you want to do it. With it, I see your hands, I'll come to you. With it, I will tell you the only thing that I don't love, and I've only ever used the free version, so I've never used the paid version for anything. Some of the images that it can create are very AI. Like you can tell that it is not a human being. So you can go in and switch it out and use your own images if you would like. You can also prompt it and say, make this image look less like an AI robot, but I gotta tell you, like anything that I was doing, if I listing presentation slide deck that I wanted to make, buyer consultation, first time home buyer seminar, investment seminar, like I would literally use Gemini for anything. And you can download it and then I just upload it into Google Drive. And because it will have a little icon at the bottom right that'll say Gamma, and I just cover that with a KW logo. So you can't download it to you. So yeah, that was
Kind of my question, so does it integrate or can it create like a Canva sensor?
no, it's creating its own template. So
Okay.
it's its own slide deck that you
Okay.
just share from Gamma, or you could download, I think in PowerPoint, Google Slides. And then, I mean, if you wanted to upload it into Canva, if you wanted to make changes, you could, but literally it's a
Follow-up question is, have you done that with Canva's new tools?
no, I haven't. I think Canva, I love Canva, but I mean, I'm telling like, oh,
It's a little, it's a lot of stuff now.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I,
But you can convert.
yeah,
Like
PDFs.
Or PowerPoint.
Yeah.
From Canva to. Canva.
Yeah.
yeah. This is just like literally the speed of it I mean, it's like shocking to me. So like this is what was on.
Yeah, my question's about your choice to look at the main prompt in the chat and turn it over to Canva, and you find that your prompts aren't as accurate or, I don't know, that's one, with just direct it to Canva.
I haven't done a ton of looks into Gamma. I've done more like, this is the document and I want to make it into a slide deck. But I will tell you from Gamma, it's very easy for you to like prompt it makes it, and then be like, no, change this. Like, it's very easy to do that if you feel like it didn't deliver what you wanted. Does that answer that question? Yeah, yeah.
Gathered that chat is preferred,
Yeah, so Gamma is literally like, just will make the presentation. So that's where like, it might be a twofold of going to ChatGPT first to create a one pager and then to eat there. But this is just, I don't know, for me, like, it takes me forever to make a slide deck for classes, and the fact that I can kind of do this and it's a heavy lift was a game changer. Someone yesterday I taught this and they were like, oh, we just took they were having their team meeting after. They're like, we just changed it, put it in Gamma, and like, it looks so much better. So you can do it with existing, presentations as well. I just want to make sure of that.
which might be.
Any questions on the platforms themselves? I know there's a million others out there. And you can use what you see fit. I just would tell you. I would ask you, which platform should you choose? Anybody have thoughts on that?
All of this, or like a combination.
Could be a combination, yeah. What did you say? Wow. Look
CRM. Same question in the CRM.
I'll give you your $5 later. The one that you will use. I think if you want to really overcomplicate your life, use 10 of them. Like, that sounds like a disaster to me. So I would just say, like, for me, I kind of planted my flag a little bit in ChatGPT. I do have the paid for version just because I use it for training, but I am really starting to like Claude. So there's a part of me that's like, yeah, a little bit. I know. But I would tell you, like, just pick one. And I think it is very similar to a CRM. Like, if I'm managing my business out of 10 CRMs, all I do is manage CRMs all day, right? I don't then really manage a business. So I would just tell you, kind of pick one, go from there, see what you think about it, see what you like, see what you don't like. And go from there. Any questions on just the platforms themselves, or thoughts or conversation before we move on?
And when you're researching this, are you using like Zapier, for instance, is a good like integration tool? It's
Yeah.
For me, but and if you don't know what that is, but like they send out like a newsletter and they're like, these are our favorite AI tools for the week. Like, what resources are you using to vet these? Because they are just like popping up like freaking
Yeah.
wildfire.
I don't use as much, like, I probably stick with like a ChatGPT, a Claude, and a Gamma, and a Gemini, and that's it. Cause I do feel like,
If we just like stick to like a handful, like one that's for this
Yeah.
purpose, one that's for that.
also, like, I love technology. I'm not like oh God, I'm so scared of it. But like yesterday, someone was telling me, oh, I take all my bank statements and I upload them into this. And I'm like, I don't know that I love that for you, but here we are, right? So I'm also like, I'm cautious of like all of these that are coming out that like we were so nervous about protecting our data and
Right.
now it's like, oh, I don't know who you are. Here's my social security
Right.
number. Can you put it together for
And
me?
who
So I
can hack into their
yeah,
systems.
like I'm just like cautious about just kind of jumping to that. That makes
I
sense.
love the idea of using Gemini for the Google Docs, Google spreadsheets, so for, I've been loading them
Yeah,
to ChatGPT, so that was like a big
Yeah.
aha.
it's a little bit more protected that way. Like even if you're logging in through ChatGPT and I log in through my Gmail, I just think it's, for me, it's one less step and there's maybe that layer of protection.
If you were to, for any top of mind AI tools you see great for each of those kinds of things, since we're all focused on different aspects of the business?
Well, you're not gonna like some of my answers.
Okay.
10 of them.
No, I mean, I would tell you to never use an AI for a CMA. Because like we were talking about this the other day, someone was like, I wish that our MLS could integrate with a GPT. And I was like, you're crazy if you want that. Like the fact that you're opening up all of your accurate data to anybody in the world to be able to find the value of their home. Like, yeah, like I absolutely, I would not want that. So, so I think we can go, and if we want to have talking points, right? I think that's really smart, but Zillow's not accurate, right? We know that Zillow's not accurate.
It's getting better.
And so, but I always want to find a way to protect the agent. And if we are opening up everything, we take protection away.
Where that can come in is you take, there's a lot of data points and then you load those maybe into a spreadsheet
Yeah.
or some document.
Correct.
It's the tool.
And I think like we were talking the other day in another workshop that this was in, I think, Outer Banks, and someone was like, I'm not originally from the Outer Banks, and there's all these different markets and like everything is so hyper local. I know it's the same here. And so for me to not be from here and not understand it can be very overwhelming. So I think that asking ChatGPT for very general information can be really helpful. I'm just fearful of the day that anybody can go to ChatGPT and get accurate information on how they could sell their home, how much it is, all of that stuff. I just don't want to take you guys out of it.
I have used it for CMA before, but just to recheck mine, so I did like
Yeah.
a CMA for my client, and something in my head was like, let me see if ChatGPT on the same page I'm on. And it used the same properties I used. It actually had one in there that was coming to market that I didn't use. And it gave you a breakdown with, like, for instance, just the number. If you go with 30,000, you're probably gonna get this. If you go with 40,000, people are gonna stop the drop because this property sold for
Hmm.
blah, blah, and it gives
Yeah.
you like a whole thing. So it was spot on, but I got the paid version too, but
Yeah,
it was spot on with the information that it gave.
I
yeah.
have a question for you. Why do you think is that he?
Oh, I did mine. Fine, I actually named
It's insane.
So that,
ChatGPT is that?
That's true. Mine is just chat. That's what I'm doing. I stuck with the C and I did chat.
So.
Then what it does it?
SOL, yes, yes.
It's interesting.
I named everything.
You wanted to add something? Yeah.
That, when we go into listing presentations, we should see what Zillow's saying, because they're looking,
Yeah.
they're doing that about Chat.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Looking
100%.
prior to going to a listing presentation with Chat saying anyway,
Yeah.
so that's.
Just to be able to
really
address any
Yeah.
questions,
important.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's like realistically, what are the odds of actually being able to control any of this stuff? Like, I just feel like you
Not
can't, like, if you actually, like, you just have to accept it. Like, AI has already come so far in terms of video, like, it's astounding how far it's come.
Mhm.
And I think that inevitably this is gonna be something that you are gonna have to cope with in terms of transactions, but like, it's not gonna be stopped, so it's just a matter of utilizing it as a tool.
I agree. No, I totally agree. I just think as much as we can protect you guys and
Yeah,
having that, I think we need to also understand, so we'll talk about this a little bit later, we talk about KW, but most of the things that we've looked at so far are what we call an open AI, which means number one, anybody can use it. So it's not proprietary data that you have to work for this company to have access. But it also means that when I'm asking it a question, it is pulling from everything. Where we have some people out there that are not necessarily experts in their industry and it's pulling that. So I just think like the importance is to make sure that you are double checking. I think it's fantastic as a tool and a resource, but then to ensure that you are actually like doing the job of just careful checking everything for that.
Any other areas recommend don't use it for?
No, I mean,
Okay,
I,
that can.
I would be cautious of like uploading bank statements and
Sure.
they're like, that makes me a little nervous, so
Family social security numbers.
be cautious for that. But I mean, I think and listen, there's a million of them out there. I think you can kind of discover which one is best for you, but those are kind of the two that jump to me that I.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. All right, so let's talk about crafting the perfect prompt. We're gonna spend a good amount of time here and activities around this. So, let's say that we had like an 8-year-old boy or girl, and we wanted them to clean their room, and we said to them what it says on the right-hand side of the screen, that clean your room. What would happen?
They would do it. But
It depends on their disc profile. Good.
To their room and they did something, what would they shove it on the dark player? Push everything under the bed, close the door. They'd be like, I walk in and they'd have like a princess costume on and just doing it. I was like, oh,
That's it.
from the beginning. But now let's say that we say to them, hey, I'm gonna give you 10 minutes. I want you to go to your room. I want you to put your stuffed animals away. I want you to put your video games away. And I want you to just throw your comforter over the bed. What would they do?
Probably that.
Maybe not all of it, right? They might do like 70%, 50%, right? So in my mind, I might think, well, I asked them to do the same thing both times. So what changed the second time?
Specifics.
I was more specifics. I gave them a little bit of a time, right? I said 10 minutes, so that it doesn't feel like so overwhelming to them. And I gave them like, this is what lets you know that you're done, right? This is what it is. Let's think about it this way too. Let's think about your real estate business is like so crazy, you're just killing it. So you have to hire an assistant. And today is your assistant's first day. And you say to your assistant, write a social media post for my business. What would they do?
What type, like, maybe like what?
Ask a lot of questions.
They would ask a lot of follow-up
Depends
questions,
on their
right?
disc profiles.
So if they would ask a lot of follow-up questions, if you're anything like me, after the fourth question, you would say, I'll just figure it out, right? And so we're taking it back. We're not providing the leverage, right? Now it's the same thing. If it was their first day and we said, hey, we just took a new listing on 123 Main Street. Here's the property online where you can find it. I'd like a photo. I'd like the top 5 features, and I'd like it to be like an engaging social media post. They would probably do 70% of that. They might have some follow-up questions, but you see, we gave them a path and we really created that prompt of what to do. It's the exact same thing when we're talking about using AI for your business. So the best way for you to get the best experience from AI is to really spend time working on these prompts and having awareness of the prompts, because it is at its core a computer that is like reading code of what you are asking it. It doesn't have human behaviors. You can't read between the lines. It doesn't know all of these things unless we're sharing it with them. So when we really look at crafting the perfect prompt, there's kind of 3 buckets that we want to make sure that we're checking. So the first thing is we want to make sure that we're identifying the audience, because would we all agree that a first-time home buyer is a very different audience than an investor, right? And if we're not identifying that, what happens is it just goes to the middle of the road, and that's where you have the same marketing as every other agent in the. So we need to make sure that we're identifying the audience, who you are, and it will start to know that as you create this account, so who you are first, and then who you are tailoring this to, who you want this to get in front of. Then we need to set the tone and the style. So we really need to let it know, like, is this more casual? Is this an Instagram story? Or is this a blog post that I'm doing? Or is this a letter that I'm sending out to executives about being the, agent for when people are moving here to work for local hospitals? Like, what am I doing here? And then use proper formatting. So is it a blog post where I think people might actually read it? Or is it something on social media where we have the attention span of less than a goldfish? And so it needs to be a sentence. And so If I can really make sure for every prompt that I'm checking these off, you're gonna get just such a better experience. So let's walk through an example in real estate of a bad prompt, a little bit better, and a great one. So same thing, if I said to my assistant or to ChatGPT, write me a postcard, what am I gonna get?
Hi, Mom.
Yeah,
Fine.
exactly, yeah.
Wish you were here.
They don't even know, some people might not know that like real estate agents send postcards. Why would you send a postcard? Why would you wanna do that? So I'm not gonna get anything. If I say, write a 3 to 4 minute postcard about real estate. You might get something better. I'm not gonna get it local. They don't really know what to write about. It's gonna be very, very generic and very, very basic. Versus, and I'll just read it because I know the font is small. I'm a real estate agent and I want to write a postcard for my clients who I have sold homes to. So we're already identifying the audience. I want my postcard to be humorous and conversational, yet professional and lighthearted. So we're identifying the tone of what we would like that postcard to be. And I want you to make it 3 to 4 sentences long. It should contain one interesting fact about the residential real estate market in your local area. And it should have a call to action for them to call me if they have any questions or need help. And I'm not saying that it's not going to create this document or whatever we're creating and that it's going to be perfect and that you're not going to make much changes to it. But I promise you, it's going to be significantly better than if you just said, write me a postcard. Right? It's just we're identifying and we're doing all. So what I'd like for you to do now is in the same groups, and I'll go back a slide so we can kind of see what a perfect prompt looks like. I want you to pick one of the items of how you said that you would like to use AI more in your business. Here's the most difficult part. You can't use AI to come up with the prompt. For this portion, I'm asking you to use your brains if you're significantly smarter than AI. Just to come up with what would a prompt be if we wanted to use AI for this particular way. So I'll go back one. These are really what we want to hit. Identifying the audience, setting the tone and style, and using the proper formatting for it. I will give you about 5 or 6 minutes for this to really spend some time on it. And then when we're done, you'll know because I'll raise my hand again. Any questions before we jump into this? We're good? Okay. 5 or 6 minutes for what you think is a perfect prompt.
Which issue are we gonna take? Well, we have to. Are we supposed to use one of ours? Right.
The lights?
Like,
Any class?
Yeah.
2 different ones, but like the, like I play.
Yeah, turn off whatever you need. Yeah,
Connected.
it's fine. Yeah.
Next, it's my, hit up to account, like hit up email, and I said, go through my emails, find my most commonly for onboarding and stuff. And so it was in there, and do other. So, I was able to separate the, onboarding sites and sometimes. So it's a good problem. I'll do this large amount of No, right now I just have I asked it, the question and then how can we. Right now I just have to, so what I just have this place to talk. I have. Very nice. What we wanna do?
So those be the front. We're front right now. How to select everything. Producing a video on how to select everything done. Or do for first time.
Yeah. Talk about, they're talking, so I'm an agent in South Carolina, Hopkins. They're like a specific, like, time home buyers, first time for buyers.
5-minute video on how to select everything. Be original brands. We need a contact. Need to
Set up.
encourage them to set up.
And I think.
So. No, we're doing it in reverse. Coming from Jerry. But I like what that. So I mean, can go, I like it. It's something. That was gold, right? That's what, so. Oh, yeah, I'm trying to, yeah, that is, that my God's in, so.
Why have we trained? Great, so it does, yeah.
If we have these people something, and you know, I take this one.
Six, so me and my husband, we swapped this for Christmas, and I got the work, so I actually just, you for one. To be freaking
Right.
Two, you know, this one only has like black lines, one sounds like black. I'm just my mouth.
Can you lift the base?
Yeah, so it's going like out of pavings or go like towards my, and then you can also go like up and down or this time there for like.
Can you highlight?
Yeah, I up. Well, it doesn't show like lighted books, so that if I were to send out myself, it comes in color. They have a remote color from that song. So where it has like, you can actually see that. So I can do black, white, gray. So for that, black, white, and gray, red, and yes, it's gray. But you can turn the nation with. So yeah. You send it to yourself, the concept.
How much you got?
Like around
Letter.
500
People. Down.
So it's really not even. Virtually. So it works for your house in water. That you're gonna.
Light or.
So I'm gonna, okay, I'm gonna send this to my email later, and just send it out.
That's like the standard favorite for people.
If anyone. So we're hoping to stand with.
We can take on the academy to the point.
Steve, do
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Home bar audience. They called actually in the first minute. Special just reference from using photos and then. Video thing that I've tried to, and I know it's wrong today. She hand stopped playing. Instead of finding me later, so my first. Please, you're supposed to drop. I want to find this. Hi. Still welcome. The first you start now. Madam, I'm so angry. How are you? These are that can wait. When you can't do I can look at this. You know, like now, like how now, so. I'm not gonna get time to read that heavy generation. And then I can get we're gonna happen. No, you want to shop this, you're gonna get all those numbers.
Check it.
And that's how it's getting. When you did that. There are not. So my stories are, it's a video, we want to link his or now, so like that. So then I do it, Washington, the first can write, and then you know, filling it out, second, and third minute, and then repeating it out. That's all right, necessarily. Yeah, hopefully that was close to it. I know it can be like a lengthy process to make sure that you're just getting it as close to perfect as you feel like you want to. Does anybody have a prompt that they created as a group that they would like? Now that the most other people are getting involved in. Sure, right.
So quick. Already need someone to help finish it, but this is like a dear seller letter, or what, not dear seller, but
The golden letter.
Yeah, homeowner.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
So I'm a real estate agent in Mount Pleasant. I want to send out a postcard directed at homeowners in Sneed Farm. Wanting to make it casual, lighthearted and persuasive. Ask a question that sparks engagement, that leads to a call for action. And then anyone wanna help finish it out and paragraph?
I mean, we basically had said letter.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's great. I think with the prompt too, sorry, go ahead.
well, cause like Judy said, you could say letter and then once they get that, say. All right, take that same information, put bullet points, cause I'm gonna use it in, you just.
Yeah.
That up.
You're just
Do-
taking one and making
The
it a
last
system.
thing I would say is there anything I'm missing? Yeah, and then it'll suggest.
And do you need to prompt the kind of call to action you want, or you just leave it open-ended?
You can say, I want a call to action, and then it would give you whatever it thinks is a call to action. And if you say, I don't like that, or I prefer a text this or whatever, you could say that.
Okay.
Yeah, great. Awesome job. Anybody else want to share? It's okay if you don't. Yes? Yeah, thank you.
Act as a real estate agent with, I just use mine, 14 years of experience, create a content strategy to attract first-time buyers who have the capacity to purchase a home. 400,000 plus is motivated and qualified. So like part of it.
Love it. Very cool. Capacity, the ability, the capacity, yeah, it's important, yeah, yeah. So, let me ask you, those of you that maybe haven't prompted this way, was this like a little bit of a different experience for you than how you usually do it, or is this already how you're doing?
Yeah.
I lose that.
Back and forth. Okay, back and forth, okay. Do you see how giving it more information and what you're really looking for can just give you a better outcome, a better experience for it? I want to show you, this is from a workshop that I did another time, and I just have kept it because I wanted to share it with all of you. And I know it's really small, so I will read it as well. But what I think can be beneficial too is really identifying who you are, which we'll kind of chat about that in a little bit, some best practices, but really identifying what does your perfect client look like? Some people call it an avatar. I don't love that phrase, but what it like, if I could work with one particular buyer or seller for the rest of my life, that is easy to me. I love it. I enjoy it. Who is that? And I think letting the AI know this is my perfect client and can you build everything around that? And so the example that we gave it, this was in a different market. So it just says, I want to focus on finding buyers that are moving up into a new home. The type of buyer I want to find is generally 40 to 50 years old. They might have children in middle to high school. They have a net worth of around 500,000, excuse me, to $1 million. They like to use Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram for social media. I want to create a marketing campaign to try to find buyers like this. I would like the marketing campaign to have a Facebook post, dialogue for an Instagram reel, and 4 additional Instagram stories. Also create a blog post about 5 things to do to get prepared for this move. In the campaign with a text message with a call to action and a phone call with dialogue. Keep the tone light, but with an encouragement of them to reach out to me for details. Use some emojis for Facebook. And so then what it gave me is the Facebook post with just kind of comment below, and I'll send you this. A full dialogue of what to use for my Instagram reel with literally down to like talk to the camera. So it tells you that. It gave me 4 Instagram stories that are pretty engaging. So we've got like polls, questions, like different things. So it's not just us posting, it's actually looking for engagement there. And then a blog post, 5 things to prepare for your move up. And then it ends with a text message with a call to action, because the idea is I've put all of this out on social media. I had 1,000 impressions, people seeing it. I got 10 people that actually commented or did something. That is who I'm now reaching out to. And then finally, to wrap up, just a phone call for that as well. So I think the more that we can kind of get into the habit of, number one, feeding it, who is our like perfect client for this,
Tailor it.
But
Yeah.
then also, I don't want just a one and done, right? I don't just want a social media post. I want a full marketing blitz campaign, knowing that this is kind of the client that I'd like to work with. What questions or discussion or conversation do you have around prompts before we move on?
Is there a way to enter, like, start having to type this every single time? Like, basically like create your avatar and like
Yeah,
have that in there,
yeah,
so it knows you.
there's, do you want to jump into it? No, so we can bring information about it. That is really okay. That's serious, go ahead. Yes, yeah. If you go to my branding series, I'll just. I'll just give you like one tip. I won't take girl, it's incredible, so please go. But something that if I could go backwards, I would probably do this now. Cause I just like fed it information, but I was actually thinking about this the other day. I would probably put a resume together. And then I would probably take my last 10 client testimonials and I would upload it all into ChatGPT. And I would say, this is my resume, this is who I am, and this is the expectation that my clients have from me. So every time that you are answering, know that and have that in mind, just so it kind of knows who you are.
Perfect.
But yes, you absolutely can and should. Yeah.
Can you create several personas in ChatGPT?
Can you?
Can you? Like, this is for our buyer's agent,
You can.
and this is for Heidi, and this is for me, and
I have people that own like multiple businesses, and so they have multiple things where they're kind of managing it. What?
You can put them all into one as well, so that whenever, like, if you wanna speak as like the team versus if you wanna speak as the individual people. Like, say, for instance, it's both of you, you can even merge that into one and be like, Alan does this, Heidi does this, you can have that, like, even as one, so that you have an integrated voice if and when too. Or so that you can act on one another's strengths or weaknesses.
and do you have to save them in a specific?
Yeah, you create a custom chat bot.
Okay. Okay,
You have homework now.
yeah, great.
So let's jump into where we're starting to see AI show up in your command account. And so this is things that we have now that are live, and also just kind of a look to what we're working on for the future. So the first one is Quick or KWIQ. Has anyone heard of that or used it? Yeah, sure. Okay. So we were gonna name it Ask Gary, and we decided not to do that. So Quick is the name of it. So where we've been talking about AI previously, remember, we're talking about open AI, which means that you don't have to be a member of anything to be able to access it. So what we're talking about with Quick is a closed AI, meaning it is just for our Keller Williams associates. So here is what Quick is pulling from, because it does not pull from the internet like everything. So Quick pulls from some of Gary's books. So it pulls from MREA, Shift, and The One Thing. It also pulls from some of our KWU curriculum. So it pulls from Win with Sellers, Win with Buyers, 6 Personal Perspectives, Ignite, Value Squared, some of the Bold Rewrite, along with some other courses that are donated. And then it also pulls from, so if you've been to Mega Camp or Family Reunion, or you watched it virtually in the last few years or so, you know that the team has done an incredible job of creating these one-pager. So when they are interviewing someone from stage that is really hosting open houses at a very high level, they then put together a one-pager based off of that agent system. I think we're up to like 600 one-pagers now. It pulls from all of those pagers. And then we have a lot of different playbooks. I think we have 12 to 14 now. So like social media, ISA playbook. This is the AI playbook. It pulls from all of those as well. And then finally, on the tech side, it pulls from the website answers.kw.com. So if you want to create a custom smart plan and you don't know how, you can ask Quick and it will pull from that. So here's where I really love Quick is, let's say that I am an agent and my biggest lead gen bucket is repeat and referral business, and that has slowed down. And I need to find another way to work on my lead generation. And I'm like, I haven't hosted an open house for 7 weeks and I don't remember what I should be doing. I can go to Quick and I can ask it and I can say, I want to go to an open house. What are the things that I should be doing? And it will give me like, here are basically the steps to a 7th level open house of how you can have the most successful open house. And I like this because it's based off of proven systems, models, and tools from our top associates and from Gary himself. Not saying that ChatGPT or anything like that doesn't give great advice, but remember that is pulling potentially from anybody that has been in real estate for 2 minutes and has a YouTube account and who now says that they are an expert. So I just really like this. Who in here either is on a team, runs a team, or wants to build a team? By raise the hands. Okay. I love this if you have a team or are new to a team to also help you with a lot of the KW stuff that kids are using. So you could literally like, I don't know how to add a contact. I'm new. I could ask Quick. I've never done lead generation. What should I be paying attention to? What numbers should I be tracking in my business? Let's ask Quick. So literally it can kind of, it's designed to be a little bit of your like daily assistant to ask those questions. Now, the thing with Quick is it's the exact same experience for every single Keller Williams associate, meaning what Quick doesn't do is scan your own database. I can't ask Quick, what transactions do I have closing this month? It's not scanning for your data. It is general, the ability to ask questions, get responses.
It's almost like an encyclopedia.
Yeah, yeah, it's almost like our internal Google with like suggestions, kind of, right? And what's nice is you'll see, we actually just moved it yesterday. So we had an update yesterday. So it used to be at the bottom of the page. It is now at the very top. So anytime that you are in command, you'll see it will say Quick with, I think I logged in. Let me see if I logged into command. I don't know if I did or not. Yeah, I did. Yeah, it'll be at the top. So you'll see it like right up there at the top, right? It has the 3 little stars and then it says Quick right next to it.
It's a great name.
Right here.
It's a good name.
Yeah. So if I click into it, you'll see it just opens up like a chat bot. And so these are not the only questions I can ask it. These are just suggestions to kind of kick you off. And then if you are using it, you will have the ability to see your history. So you can go into any of those additional questions that you've asked. And then I do like that when I ask it a question, so this is, I asked what numbers should I track in my business? Maybe I'm new to business. It does give me follow-up prompts. So it tells me, okay, you were interested in knowing what numbers. Here are some follow-up prompts that maybe you should consider asking so that we can continue down this dialogue together. So just kind of cool for you to be able to have that as a resource.
So the more you use it though, if you want to build on things, you're gonna have to scroll down that whole history, I guess.
Yeah, it's less of ChatGPT with the history like that. It's probably more like individually asking questions. Yeah. And I have a lot of history on mine. Just use it to train. So yours might not be as full there.
Okay.
Another place where we see AI showing up, just by a raise of hands, has anybody run Facebook or Instagram ad through command?
I tried.
So, you have the ability through Facebook, and through Campaigns to use AI now for the writing and the content of the ad. Because the question that I do get asked a lot is, I want to write an ad, but I don't know what to say. Like, what's catchy? What should the headline be? What should the text be? And so we're using, it's essentially Quick, but it's Evolve AI Copywriter. And so when I'm creating an ad, it will ask, do you want help with all inputs? Do you want help with just the headline? Or do you want help with just the body text? And then what it will do is, if I were doing it based off of a new listing I just took, it would pull data in from MLS. So we want to make sure that we're double checking that the information is accurate. But it would also pull in top performing keywords of what we see performing well across Facebook in our industry. So a little bit of a mixture there. I like to think of ways that I can use AI to find more business. And so if I were going to use this, I might share with potential sellers, when you decide to list with us, we're going to put marketing dollars and we're going to run ads on Facebook so that we have a larger reach of impressions of potential buyers seeing your property. And we're going to do that using AI to ensure that we're using the top performing keywords just to make sure more people are action senior home. That is live for you. You have access to that as well. And then what I think is actually the coolest AI feature that we have so far is the ability, this is where this is custom for every agent with KW. So what we've talked about previously with Quick and the campaigns, it's the same experience. This, however, is where AI is essentially reading through your unique database. And so with this is the AI timeline summary. And so you'll see when you go into any contact in Command, at the top of the page, you'll have this little summary that will tell you just the important information. It goes through and reads the timeline and pulls up based off of the most recent history, what it thinks you should be paying attention to.
Okay.
Now this is based off of notes, logged activities. So the easiest way to log those activities is to do everything through the Command app, to make phone calls, to text, to do everything. Consumer engagement on your agent site or app. So on your KW site, if they are liking a home, if they are requesting a tour of a home, if they are saving a search, that all pulls into it. So here's the good news. It's incredible. Here's the bad news. It's only reading what you allow it to. So if you have no data in your database, you will have a sad experience with this. And it will literally say under every contact, there is not enough data for an AI summary. So this is where if we want AI to do the heavy lift for us, it's what we have to allow AI to have access to. So really the more that you can kind of feed your database every day, have the information in there, just a significantly better experience that you're gonna have with this.
So if we're only using Command for compliance, it's
You're not gonna have anything.
nothing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you're not.
Yeah.
And something that we're working on, I don't have times or rollouts for this, but like kind of in the same vein of this. We do have our data team that is working on a likely to list. That would be the same sort of thing. So it will scan and read your database and then see based off of what we see. We anticipate these being the 5 to 10 most likely contacts that would be likely to list in the next 30, 60, 90 days. But I gotta tell you, if there's no data, we can't share that with you. So if I can just impress upon you, like the more data that you can feed it, the better experience that you're gonna have of AI doing that heavy lift for you. Any
Like
questions?
promoting
on-
the app, like promoting the Command app, and like letting the clients use that.
Yep.
The best way for me to help you is through this.
Yeah, 100%.
Any funny things that we should, like, say, for instance, make sure that we are adding, but besides just logging notes, like anything besides notes that we should especially focus on in order to.
Yeah, so it'll pull from notes and it'll pull from activities. So honestly, like the biggest game changer, if you want to just hit this fast, is making every single real estate phone call through the Command app. Because the second that you hang up, the box pops up, it prompts you. I just speak it and I say, we spoke about it. It adds it as an activity and then it is pulling from that.
Yeah.
So like it will start to tell you the last time that you spoke was in October and they were going on vacation and they were getting a puppy and they've been looking at homes in Charlotte. Like it'll literally have all of that I'm logging in there.
So if we're it, then it's even easier and we can, honestly, like, if I talk to text, I feel like I talk more.
You get
If
more
I was just kind of like bullet point 3 things, dog.
Yeah,
Right?
I talk every time and it's just better data, I think is accurate. That's a good,
Okay, cool. So we, like, if we expand upon our notes more and make sure, really
add the actives.
add the activity.
That's the biggest thing, is the activities, because that also pulls into everything, right? Last contacted, all of the different. information. Any other questions on KW? Stuff, yeah. Cool, we're in the last 5 minutes. We won't go through this. So we've talked about like how to use AI. These are just some of my favorites. That doesn't mean that these are the best ways. If you have things to share and we want to take a rapid fire, please, we can do that. I just wanted to share with you some ways that I'm using it. I use it very heavily for content creation. So I've literally been going in and saying, make a 12-step follow-up plan for open house leads. And I want it to be 4 emails, 4 text messages, like, and 4 phone calls or whatever it is. And then I take that information and I just create a custom smart plan in Command. I space it out however I want to see fit, but I am using it to write all content for that. If we talked about content, I think that's where you kind of dabble first, is like write this or do this for me. I actually really love it for personal development as well. And I steal all of these ideas from TikTok when I see it, so they're not my own. But something that I did that kind of blew my mind is I said, in 10 years from now, this is where I want to be financially, health-wise, with personal relationships, with my job, with like all of these buckets. Like 10 years from now, this is where I want to be.
Dog.
So, so knowing that you know that about me, could you put my yearly and monthly goals together? And then could you create a schedule of someone who is already living that lifestyle?
Wow.
And then it put it all together for me, and it allowed me to see like, okay, if that's kind of what I want to grow into, this is what I need to do now. We talked, I'm a almost 45-year-old woman. All I should be doing is eating protein all day long. So I use it to create meal plans, and I use it this morning for a workout plan at my hotel gym. I've used it for travel itineraries. I've used it for a bunch. There is in ChatGPT specifically, you can add like add-ons essentially to it. They're like extensions. If you want to jot this down, it's not a KW product, so I can't stress that enough, but it was created by a Keller Williams agent. It's called AI Script Coach. So it's just AI Script Coach. And it is essentially a real life role play partner.
And you can talk back and forth,
And
and
you
you
can
can talk that version of it.
And it will feed it to you. And it really like if you give it, like my husband was using it the other day, and he was like kind of prompting it with like, I'm going on an expired listing appointment, and it's a woman that has lived in the home for 25 years and she's very emotionally attached to it. And it will even change the voice to that type of person. Like it's absolutely insane. So it's AI script coach that you can add as a GPT through ChatGPT. And then I also really like it for goal setting and accountability. So all of you have access to your multi-year trends reports. If you don't know how to access them, I know your markets and our leadership team can help you. You could take your multi-year trends and upload it and say, take a look at my business. I'm down 10% year over year. Write a 6-month business plan for me for the remainder of the year to take 10% more listings that I have this year prior. So you could take whatever reports you have. I've taken like my GPS and my 411 and said, these are my goals. What are my blind spots? Like, what am I missing? What do I need to be focusing on more? So you can kind of take a bunch of reports and kind of upload it and add it to
AI coach.
And that's through Command?
No, this is all.
No, but you said you did the
Your multi-year
uploading.
Trends, your multi-year chats would be available through Command or my computer.
Okay.
So the team leaders told me about somebody did Gary.ai and you upload your KPA.
Yeah,
Have you done that one?
I haven't. Yeah, but I've heard of it.
And it was fascinating because it told me, y'all know me, it told me that my top things would be client events, sphere and networking.
Yeah.
And then it also said that my least favorite ones would be like cold calling, door knocking, and data-driven analysis
Yeah.
things. And then it created a time block schedule for me. And for me, I need a lot of variety in my life. So it made sure that I hit all the points, but it said, based on your need to socialize, I was like, how do you know? It like literally created a very, like, a lot of variety in my. I don't like a normal time.
Somebody at OP was telling me like he needed to hire someone new and he had an old 30/60/90. And he uploaded the 30/60/90 and said, update it with these items and then write an Indeed ad for the person that would do all of this that I'm looking for. And so you're like reverse engineering it, right? For building a team, for doing anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, for this role.
Yeah. So you could there's a ton of stuff that you can do with it. I wanted to leave you with just a little gift. So this is just a lead generation plan. It is super, super, I don't want to say basic, but like very kind of open. And so what I did is I went in and I said, okay, for a real estate agent that there are 4 lead gen buckets and you would not do all 4, right? But open house leads, internet leads, repeat business and referral business. Could you just put together like 4 different ideas for each that are a little bit out of the box, different ways that we can focus on lead gen for that particular bucket? And so it will give you all of those. And then the last thing is kind of taking one of those buckets and putting together like a 60-day plan of how to find more business if that was your largest lead gen bucket. And it's not that you have to do it or this is what you have to stick to, but I thought it might be helpful because then you could take it and if you're like, well, I like this, but this is for open houses, you could take it, you could just copy the text, put it into Chat GPT and say, could you come up with the same system, but I'm a real estate agent, I want it for client events or whatever it might be. So just kind of like a kickoff for if you're not using it at that level to kind of allow you to start with that. And then the final thing is we just want to make sure that we're always delivering the best content to you that we can. This QR code will take you to just I think it's like a 4 or 5 question survey, just so we can kind of check in and make sure that we're bringing you timely, needed, and useful content. It's going to ask you 4 questions. Is it a market center class or a regional? You can say Carolinas region. It is in person, you know that. And then for the course, you do have to scroll down until it says course not in drop down. I think it's the last option. And you can just put AI there. I'll know which one it is because I get all of this sent to me. And then it's alphabetical under instructor by first name. So you just have to scroll down to the bottom of the C's and just would love to have feedback. And then to wrap things up, so often when we finish a KWU course, the question is, well, what are your ahas? Which is a fantastic question. And said differently, I'd love to hear maybe from 2 or 3 people, what is something that you are going to take action on based off of the last 90 minutes that we spent together, or maybe you've already taken action on. So would love to just hear some response.
Yeah, go. The Gemini, I knew it connected to Google, but I've never really started it. And kind of with my idea of wanting it to come through my emails to find things, I've already got it connected. I said, ask me my most frequently asked question, give me my most frequently asked questions and some good responses to those. So kind of already
Saving time.
Yeah, all my systems are in like Google documents. So now I'm gonna like have it look at those and say like, how can I improve? And
Gemini's really cool for me though.
Yeah.
Very good. I love that.
Yeah.
What else? What are you gonna take action on? Thanks for sharing.
What for me is more personalizing AI, like really like telling it, giving it more information about me, sort of personalized and sound more like me. So not type everything out, copy and paste into it, and let's start speaking.
Very good with that. Yeah. One more. What's one more thing that you're going to take action on? Otherwise you don't get your goal. Had to do
To command. So make sure how you shoot on
That's $5.
You corrected for that. I'm always so fearful that like we're gonna have all of this cool stuff in command and you guys are gonna feel like you're left behind because then you're trying to catch up. So honestly, if you could just start today by just logging the activities, you'd be shocked 30 days from now how much more data it would have for you to command. So if that could be like your one thing, we should try to do that. Cool. Well, thank you. I know this was 90 minutes on a rainy day where I know you wanted to stay home and watch Netflix and pushing you on.
We need the rain. It's a good thing.
Good. Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to come here with all of you. Anything you need to know about some. Nope. Thank you guys. I appreciate all of it. Thank you.
Awesome, too short.
Thank you.
Or I can come along sibling. Stop that. Nice.
Of course. Good.